Hi guys, welcome to Tuesday Night Live. It is Tuesday night, June the, looks like 28th, almost the end of June. And I wasn't here last week because I had a prior commitment, but I'm back on Tuesday Night Live. So welcome, thanks for joining me. I am a little late. Not unusual for me, right? My name is Betty Sakosha. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and the team leader for the Power of Positive Inking team. A couple of weeks ago, I was showing you, well, I'll flip you down and I'll show you what I came up with since then because I demonstrated one card, but I want to show you the other two that I discussed in the video, and then we will get down to business. Okay, let me do this. I think that's low enough. Do you think that's low enough? Well, I'm going to say that's low enough. I will, hello Maureen. I will zoom you in if need be. But a couple weeks ago we did, this actually isn't exactly the version we made, but this was generally the version we made. And this was using the Stamparatus, and this was actually from the tea set. So I was showing you a technique to get things perfectly spaced if you so desire. And then I said you could do this with a couple other sets. So this was another set that I did it with. This is the Simply Fabulous, which is in the current annual catalog. Love this font. Just saying hello. I just think it's big and bright and fun. So same technique to get those perfectly spaced. And then I also mentioned the cookies. Now the cookie set, it's called Nothing Better Than, and it actually comes with cookies, chocolate, cocktails, and coffee. It was like something else that starts with C. It's coffee. So you could do nearly any of these. The cocktails are a little bit taller, but I'm pretty sure you could fit them on here. Or do the card that way and you'd get the same thing. So if you are interested and missed that episode, just go back. I'll try and link to that video. It was from just a couple weeks ago, and it was using the Stamparatus to get that kind of look. Now tonight, we are going to focus on seashells. It is summertime. It is time for seashells. I was lucky enough to spend a day this weekend at the beach, and I said I need to send the friends that I was with a little card thanking them for inviting me. So I decided I was going to pull out my embossing folder right here called Seashells 3D Embossing Folder. So this is found on page 177 of the catalog. I'm noticing now that somehow, I see what it is. You're seeing something that you don't need to be seeing. So let me see if I can stretch this out, or maybe not. Maybe tonight's video will be, there we go. There we go. I want you to see what was over there. Hello, Jody. Hello, Susan. Hello, Melanie. Thanks for joining me. So I was going to work with this embossing folder called Seashells 3D. This has been in the catalog at least for a couple years. It's really hard to see because it is see-through, but it's a 3D folder, so it's a really nice hard folder. You can buy it individually for $9, which is the way I purchased it. However, if you are so inclined, it also comes with the, or it coordinates with, I should say that way, with the seaside seashells that are found on page 174. So this will give you, it's actually really cool. I don't actually own that, but it is really cool. You can cut out some of the images that are actually on here, and that's what these shapes over here are, that you could cut. Actually, they coordinate with the stamp set, but this here, you could cut out what you've embossed here. So let me show you on page 22 of the catalog what that looks like, because I'm pretty sure they did it So yeah, so that you can see it. So here's the stamp set that it coordinates with. This beautiful Friends Alike Seashells. Bunch of great greetings in there and really pretty two-step stamping with shells. Really nice. That you could cut out with those dies. But if you look right up here, it's probably a little bit difficult to see, but those images are embossed and cut out. So that's something else you can do if this set appeals to you. Now, I do not have that set, as I told you, but I do have the Season of Chic bundle, which can be found on page 166 of the catalog, or you can see it on page 99 of the current catalog, which is this here. It's got a 2-page spread. You can get the whole kit and caboodle for it's called Textured Chic for $77.50, or you can buy just the stamp set and the dies, or any of these things separate. But if you get it all together, there's some beautiful DSP that comes with it that I have yet to play with. I have looked at for sure, but I'm not actually even using that tonight. So more to come on that. But what I love about this set is, while it's got seashells in it, it's got, so to me, this is called summer, fall, winter, and spring. All in here along with some words and then just some random splotches. You can't beat that in my mind. You get random splotches, a bunch of greetings in every season. So I love it. And what's really great are the dies that come with it. Now, I hadn't cut them all out. That would be wise, but I hadn't done that yet to show you what they all look like. But I just wanted to open up my dies here to show you. I am going to use some of the seashell dies tonight, so I will focus on those in a minute. But I wanted to show you that there's actually some dies that don't coordinate with some of the images. So there are some leaf dies that don't coordinate with images. There is this little guy here that doesn't coordinate with an image, and then a couple of random snowflakes that are enhancements, and as well as this, I don't know. I'm sure it's a shell, but I see a chef's hat. I'm not using that one tonight in any case. But there's a lot of extra stuff in that bundle, so don't overlook it. If you like some of what you see with this, don't overlook getting that bundle or the whole suite altogether. So I'm going to do some things with the embossing folder. I'm going to start very, very basic and show you a very, very beautiful summer card done with this. So this technique, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. If you've been stamping for a while, you certainly know it. But what I'm going to do, I think it's called ink to embossing folder. Direct ink to embossing folder is what I'm going to call it. Now, the easiest way that I can explain this, but if you want to try this out on your own embossing folders, try it on each side and see what you like best. But I'm going to put the ink right on the front of the embossing folder. And I know it's the front because that's where the emblem for Stampin' Up is. That's the front of the embossing folder. Now, there are a couple different ways you could do this. In the olden days, and I'm talking olden days, we used to have these rollers. One is a foam roller and one is a rubber roller. And if you have those, you certainly have not given those away. So that's an option for you. You certainly could use those. But if you don't have those, I'm going to show you a really easy way to do that. And this is using your ink pad direct to your embossing folder. So this is the back of that emblem that I told you about. Let me see if I can zoom you in just a smidge. That's the back of the emblem. And I literally am going to just tap my ink pad down all over my embossing folder. Now, you can see, I think you can see, that it's only picking up on the raised portion, right? So you're not getting the inside portion, which is exactly what I'm going for. So now I'm going to put my cardstock right down in the middle, close the embossing folder. I'm going to pull in my Big Shot, not my Big Shot, my cut and emboss machine. I refer to it as the Big Boss because we have a baby boss and a big boss. And so this is the big one. You can't do this on the baby boss because the embossing folder is too wide. A baby boss is about 3¼ inches, 3½ inches wide. This is too wide to go through that one, so you have to use the big one. So for this one, you put your main plate down on the bottom, put your closed 3D embossing plate on top, put your gray plate on the top, and feed it through. La. When it gets to the other end, gotta make sure my embossing folder was, you know, I'm gonna feed that through one more time, and the reason is I don't think that my gray plate covered my whole embossing folder, and when you don't, if it doesn't cover the whole thing, you end up with a it doesn't work. It's against the rules. It's not how it works. Okay, so let me get this out of our way. And for the big reveal, that's the back. Oh, beautiful, right? That's the front. La. So it only added ink to the lower area, and so the raised area doesn't have any ink on it. So that's how that comes out. So I'll show you the finished product for that. And here's that finished card. So I used Pool Party, Costa Cabana, and that one, Bermuda Bay. I knew it was something that sounded oceany. Now to zhuzh it up just a little bit, I'm just going to add some of these iridescent pearls. So they're a little bit different. Let me see if I can grab some of my regular pearls to show you. Okay, so these are kind of what I would consider to be our regular pearls. You can see I've been messing around with coloring them for a little bit, but these are sort of the regular ones that kind of have like a little bit of an off-white or a vanilla quality to them. These are different. They are aptly named iridescent. And I think you can see that. They really have a little bit more color on them. So this is what I'm going to use to kind of zhuzh this up just a tad. Where's my pokey tool? Pokey tool. Okay. Oh, here it is. It's never that far, but usually covered. Okay, so I'm just going to add, I'm going to throw these in. I could put them right on top of the dots that are there, but I think I will add them in spots where the dots are not. And I think they always say to do odd numbers. By they, I'm like, I don't know, the people that make up the rules. But I think 3 is not enough. So I'm going to go with 5, still an odd number, and in my opinion, the right amount. Okay, so there we go. Little zhuzhed up, very, very basic, very, very easy card. Now you're probably wondering, Betty, how are you ever going to wash that embossing folder? And does it cause problems to your embossing folder? And I will tell you that in the whole time I've been stamping, which is a lot of years, like 21 years, I've never really had a problem with it. But that said, I have actually never used Stays-On ink. That's the one ink I would avoid in this. I don't know for sure if it causes trouble, but I wouldn't take chances. Okay, so if you have access to a sink, at this point you go to your sink, you literally run this under the water of your sink, and you dry it, and it's good as new. I do not have a sink in my basement, so, and that's where I am, so I am going to do the, I'm going to take the easy way out, and I'm literally putting this in a paper towel, and I'm going to feed it through. You are welcome to steal this idea if you don't need to get up to where your sink is. Because you know going upstairs is just going to cause you more distraction, right? It's going to lead to something else. You'll never get your project finished. So if you need to clean this and you don't have access to a sink, good as new, just put it through there. And bonus, now you have embossed paper towels. Actually, that could be a bonus if you wanted embossed paper towels. But if you wanted to do that, you'd probably clean this up and not do it quite in this way. Okay, so that was easy peasy number 1. All right, number 2. Okay, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, I don't know when. I think it was the same week that I was doing these. I'm not really sure. Maybe someone can remind me if they saw those videos. But a couple of weeks ago, I was dealing with these little gems. These, what do we call them? Let's see what we call them. For Everything Fancy sequins that come in 3 different colors. So they're in the current catalog. They come in this green, which has a little bit of gold in it. Here, I'll open them up so you get the real idea. Oh, much better, right? Okay, they come in green. They come in blue. Also has a little bit of gold and a little bit of silver. And they come in pink. So I was messing around with these a couple weeks ago. Totally got off topic and was showing you these. And I came up with this because someone had suggested, can you put like a strip, a really sticky strip down and add all your sequins to it. And yes, in fact, you can. So Sandy, who I just see is now tuned in, said, you now have to make a card out of that, which was a great challenge, and I appreciate that, Sandy. So I did come up with a card made out of that, and I'm going to show you. Actually, I didn't use that, but I will. Okay, so for this one, this is all cleaned up, and now I'm just going to run through my paper. And this is 3 1/4 inches. You can see on the front what is going to show up. So you can kind of move your, it's a little, probably very, I was going to say a little difficult. It's probably very difficult to see because it's white paper, but you can kind of move it around a little bit and pick out which shells you want to show. So I picked out the shells I want to show. Let me bring back my Big Boss, put that down, making sure my gray plate is covering the whole embossing folder. That's the word. And let me pop this through. Okay. That out of the way. And here's that. It's beautiful unto itself. You hardly have to do anything to these cards because this is so pretty. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to glue this onto a larger piece of white paper. You may ask why. It's just easier. Frankly, you could put this through in this direction and only do like 3 1/4 inches, but I just found it easier to just put this piece in and then just glue it down. So that's the way I'm doing it. If there's an easy way to do something, that's the way I will choose. So I am just using, I love to use green glue. Well, I love to use green glue, period, but I especially love to use green glue on embossed folders because there's so much depth to this that I don't ever want to use, if I were to use my regular seal or Seal Plus, what you do with that is you end up pushing on your image and then that's going to pop out. You've worked too hard to get this. You don't want to distort that image. So green glue is the best way to do it, and it gets in lots of nooks and crannies, so it really works out quite well. So that's why I like to use green glue on this. But I think Melanie has tuned in, and Melanie will tell you I like to use green glue on everything. Okay, so now I have this with this little white area here, and I am going to grab... For this one, I'm going to do blue, I think, and tear and tape. Now, you might have, in the olden days, we had something called sticky strip. That would also work if you still own that. You could use Stampin' Seal Plus. You could use a big blob of green glue. As long as you have a super strong adhesive, this process will work. So what I've done... just a little bit there, is then I'm just taking my tear tape, running it right across the edge where my image is, where I glued it, right? So that's where the seam was. And then I'm just going to tear this off. It is called tear tape. You could cut it, but It's called tear tape, not cut tape, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I've got this sticking out the edge, and I could cut it, but I'm lazy. So I am going to just pop it around the back. Pop that around the back. I do want to grab my silicone mats for this because this is now sticky on the back. I can put it right down like that and it's not going to stick to it. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my blue pearly, not pearly things, sequins for everything. Is that the name of them? For everything fancy sequins. And I'm going to pull in this. Now, in the olden days, a lot happened in the olden days, but one of the things that happened way back when was that Stampin' Up! Sold these great trays that are perfect for embossing or perfect for grabbing your sequins and not having them spill all over the floors. Well, good news, they are coming back in just a couple days. So if you haven't yet received your new catalog, there's going to be a new catalog which starts on July 1st and runs through the end of December. And these trays are in them. And good news, they actually come with the stoppers. I was someplace the other day and someone actually had the stopper and I was amazed because my stopper is long gone. I have no idea where that is. But the trays will come with an embossing buddy, with some tweezers, a stopper, the tray, maybe one more thing I can't remember. So if you don't yet have the new, if the catalog has not arrived to you, if you're a customer of mine, certainly reach out to me. If you have a different demonstrator, reach out to them. Oh, Melanie's saying that she loves the catalog. Fantastic! So many fun things coming, and there's no better time to stamp than in the fall. So you're going to want to see what's in there. Okay, yeah, if I'm your demonstrator, reach out to me. If someone else is your demonstrator, reach out to them. If you don't yet have a demonstrator, I'd be happy to help you out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour these in here, and then I'm going to take the sticky side and just push it onto these sequins for everything. Okay, now I'm going to kind of fill in the holes. Where I see holes, I'm going to fill in. Now, we no longer carry glitter, but that would be another fun thing to do if you had glitter that you like to use, is to do this and then just pour glitter on it, and glitter will fill in any other adhesive area, which would be really pretty. My goodness, I love this. I'm trying to flip over. There's a few pearls in here, but I have them pearl side down and I want them pearl side up. So I'm going to do a little bit of, you know, sequin surgery. And just fill in a couple of these holes. Okay, that looks pretty good to me, except for this little guy. Yeah, he's gonna go there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna give it one more smush down. Make sure everything is smushed as best it can be. Just flipping over a couple of these pearls, because like I said, the back side of pearls, they're not ugly, but they're not as pretty as the front side of pearls. Okay. So Sandy, I hope you are watching. That you know I did take your challenge seriously. Okay. So to finish this off, I think this looks really good on what color do we call this? Smoky slate. Smoky slate. White smoky slate. Oh, Sandy is watching and she's going to try. Look at how pretty that is. My goodness, I love it. It just screams beach, doesn't it? Okay, this is the problem. When you have green glue everywhere, you don't know which green glue is the actual active green glue that has... Sometimes green glue gets a little bit dried out, and yet I don't throw it away because I'm certain I can squeeze more out of it. But I grab another green glue and then I never knew which one. You know, it happens. Okay, so if you need to fill in, I'm just covering up a couple of little things, but look at how pretty that is. Yes, this will cost you more to mail because this is a little bit thick here, and I might even put something over it, a little bit of sponge over it to protect it in the mail, but it is definitely worth it. Whoever you give this to is going to love it. Think about this. Think about making a frame and bedazzling your frame with these beauties. That would make someone happy. So let me show you the finished product. Oh, I was going to do something. I was going to do something and I totally forgot. Okay, so my goal was that I was going to do this, but before I put this on, I was going to put it right there going across. I'm going to have to figure out how best to do that afterwards because that was my plan. And I forgot my plan. But let me show you two other cards made with this. So this one was done with Balmy Blue with navy in the background. And the shell is from the So Chic Season of Chic stamp set on the inside. And then I put navy behind it. But to be honest, I really think I like the gray better than the blue with this. I think that's just really stunning like that. And it can kind of, like if you tore your paper, I didn't think to do this, but you could tear your paper, use a little bit of green glue, because you wouldn't want to use the tear tape for the technique I'm about to tell you about, because if you did that, tear tape is obviously very straight. It comes one shape, right? So it's pretty linear. But if you were to tear the paper and then kind of smear a little bit of the green glue along the bottom and then adhere them there, it would almost look like, kind of like, you know, water washing in at a beach. I think that would be really beautiful as well. I might try that. See, every time I do this, I'm like, yeah, it's something else I want to try. Another challenge for me. Okay, and then this one here, I also love. And this one was done with Petal Pink. And to be honest, some of the pink sequins that are in here, they kind of change color in the shimmer, but they were coming out a little bit, like I think you can see that guy right there. He's really kind of pink, and I thought he was too pink for this, so I did kind of eliminate some that I thought were too pink. I just kind of picked them off with my picky tool. But I'm going to use the word thanks and attach that somewhere on this. Like that. And the thanks comes from the Season of Chic stamp set as well. Okay, so let me put that. That really would have been cool, right? On an angle. I really blew it. I'll have to make another one. Okay, so that is based off of this idea that came from a couple weeks ago. All right. Finally, I have one final project to show you. It's a little bit more zhuzhed up. I am using some of the shapes that came from the let me do this first. I'm going to use shimmery white paper. Now, shimmery white, can you see that a little bit? There's just a little bit of shimmer to this. It's really hard to see if you're not here in my room looking at it, but it's just got a little bit of shine to it. And I am going to emboss my shimmery white paper. So it's more of a vanilla. In fact, let me grab, I'm going to compare. Okay, so this is basic white and very vanilla, and this kind of in between is the shimmery white. So it is less white, in my opinion, and it has more of an off-white color to it. But that's what it looks like compared to these other two. So I'm going to use that in my folder and squish this through. Again, everything I'm showing you tonight, I am using the Season of Chic, but there is the, oh shoot, I forgot the name of it, but it's something about friendship and seashells that's in the catalog. in the main catalog also, that would be an option for you. Okay, so I don't know if you'll really be able to tell, but there is a tiny bit of shimmer to this, which is perfect for this. And then you can always go in with your, whoa, did I just do? Pulled apart my my new Wink of Stella. You can go in, let's see if I can zoom you in a little bit, and add your Wink of Stella to some parts of this to add even a little bit more shimmer. If you happen to have, we used to have something called Frost White Paint, and if you still own that, that is gorgeous. You mix it with rubbing alcohol and spritz the card, and it comes out, the whole thing comes out like shimmery like that. But this adds just a little bit more sparkle. I think you can see the basic shimmer here and then a little bit more shimmer on there, which is really pretty. So that is just by using your Wink of Stella. Okay, now I cut out, I had some scraps, and I used some of the dies that come from the die set called Chic dies. So I used some that have the scallop shape, and then a detailed scallop shape, and then that one. I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? That shape. I don't know what you call this shape. But I put these through. So these are also using the same shimmer white paper. And I'm going to show you a technique that you can do with these to add a little bit of interest to them. Now, what I didn't do, but you definitely could do, is the inside of this scallop could actually end up looking like kind of like seagrass. I don't know if that's what you call that. The stuff that's at the bottom of the ocean. What do you call it? I call it seaweed. I don't know what you really call it, but this would be a way that you could use that as well, because these pieces are, or they're popped out for you, so you might as well use them, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in a couple of my colors. So I was thinking about balmy blue and some soft sea foam. The easiest way to get some ink on the bottom of on the top cover of your pad. If you have a new pad, if you have an old pad, it's very easy. You just squeeze it from the back, squish, 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 and you get this beautiful palette of color there, right? But from the new pads, it's a little bit more difficult. You definitely want to go from behind, though. For some reason, the behind part is more pliable than the top part. But then you'll get like a little pool of ink here. So I'm using, I'm actually using an old aqua painter, but we also have new water brushes, what are they called? They have the word water in them for sure, and not the word aqua, but they're the same thing. Aqua painters, I think they're called water painters. In any case, they basically do the same. They do the same thing. So if you've got the old ones, go ahead and use those. But if you don't, these can be found in the catalog. And I'm just going to dab this color around. So it's not going to be the same. It's not going to look the same everywhere. If I wanted it the same everywhere, I would have just cut out that color. But that's not what I was going for. I really wanted just kind of a very, I don't know, very natural kind of looking, just color everywhere. Okay, so that's the soft sea foam. I'm going to bring in the balmy blue and do the same thing. By the way, I sort of by accident, but then on purpose, I fed two of these through, this is double thickness. So sometimes you can do that with your embossing folders, and saves you time because, you know, why not? Depends how detailed something is. Sometimes that's a mistake to do that, but it worked fine for this. So I'm going to leave this, again, it is kind of splotchy. That's the look I'm going for. And then I'm going to take the underneath layer and do the same thing. And have some areas that are darker and lighter. And then when I cover it up, it's going to have that kind of, you know, that kind of fluid look to it. Now this shell, I'm going to tell you a trick with this shell. When I pulled this out, I tried to keep everything together and it worked fine. It doesn't always work that way, but if it does work that way, what I would recommend is to grab your dimensionals. Dimensionals. Looking for baby dimensionals. Well, they've gone missing. That's a shock. So I'll see if I can do this with the big dimensionals and not poke anything out. But what I'm doing is actually just pushing this on the back because I actually want this centerpiece to be in here. I don't necessarily want my finished card, I have some with and without this in here, but if you want this together, you need to hold it together here because as you run this piece through the embossing machine, it will cut these sections out. So if you want it together, if you put two pieces of cardstock through at the same time, they usually stay together until you poke them out. So that worked out in my benefit this time. You could also find your pieces and piece them back together, but you know, I'm a little bit of a lazy stamper and that wasn't what I was going for. Okay, so for this, I'm going to make you green and just kind of leave that aside like so. All right, let me pull in. So these are my parts. You could dry these if you needed to. This I don't really think that I need to dry. You could, I could do this. Whoops, sorry. I could do this where I have blue on green and green on blue, or I could do blue on blue. I'm not really sure. I'm going to put these aside because I actually have a finished card to show you. All right. Oh, wait, didn't show you the best part. Hang on. Hold tight. This die also has this really, whoops, sorry about that. This is wedged under here. This is really, really cool piece. Awesome, right? Watch how this cuts out. This makes a lot of paper poop. I will show you in just a minute, but isn't this awesome? So this makes a really cool kind of background. I can pick up the whole thing. It almost looks like a, I don't know, like a robot type thing. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. But when I started looking at this today, I was like, that to me looks like a net. So I did this in crumb cake. Let me get my pokey tool. Poke out all the parts here. And to add a little bit more dimension, mat number 5. So, oh, she is on the ball. Chris Tebow, you are on the ball. She was noticing I use mat number 5. Okay, I shouldn't have because this is like a cruel joke. But for about a month, Stampin' Up had a, this is our magnetic cutting plate, but they found that things weren't going well with it. I have yet to have problems with it, so I am able to use it, but for many people it was separating and it was not passing quality control for Stampin' Up, so they discontinued you can no longer order it while they try and figure out the problem. So it doesn't sound like it's something that is going to be solved super quick, so it's cruel of me to have shown it, and I apologize. Okay, but if you have it and it works, go ahead and use it. Otherwise, just cut it out the way you normally cut out anything. Hello! I see Ellen's showing up now. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing I did with my with the shells. I'm going to pick up some of my color in here. And this is just to make this have a little bit more dimension as a net. So I'm just going to plop this in various spots. And you could use a darker brown on top of this. This is crumb cake on crumb cake, but you certainly could almost go with a like soft suede or something, and it would add even more dimension to it. It's not what I chose to do, but you certainly could. Okay, so let me show you the finished card with all the elements on it together. Here it is here with the little netting in the background. So I did use green on green and blue on blue here. And I think you can see a little bit of the shimmer. So when I told you before that that part of the shell gets cut out, this one here I am holding together with dimensionals on the back. But I just saw it somewhere. It's on my desk somewhere. Loose shells, loose shells. Normally these parts pop out. These parts right here. And so then you would have this here. You could, like I said, you could kind of piece it together back like a puzzle piece. Or you could leave them out because that shells actually do deteriorate that way. And for this one here, I just added, I did not, because I was using these shimmery white cardstock, I decided that I liked the regular pearls as opposed to the iridescent pearls. I felt like that kind of look was a little bit more pleasing, so that's what I did with that. The Thinking of You comes from the Season of Chic stamp set, and then I just stamped that on the inside. Sandy's saying best card of the night. That's why it's the last card of the night. So let me pull in, maybe I can get rid of the mess that I have on my desk here, and I will show you all of the cards that we made tonight. So I started very, very simple with the direct to embossing folder technique, and this was a very, very simple card. And then the next technique that we did involved using the everything every time I gotta look at this, For Everything Fancy Sequins, which can be found in the catalog, the annual catalog. And I really am leaning towards loving this in the gray with the blue. I think it's really quite stunning. But this is with the petal pink and with the balmy blue. So that was that. And then finally, the one with the little bit more stepped up using the embossing folders for that. But, oh, love it. So, as I mentioned, the folder is not... Let me flip you around and chat with you for a second. The folder is kind of coordinates with a different stamp set. And that is also available in the annual catalogs. So that is an option as well. But if you just have just the folder, there's so much that you can do with it. It's just such a beautiful... it's just a beautiful, beautiful folder and definitely worth getting, particularly if you live anywhere that has water. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I plan to see you next Tuesday night. If you do have any questions, just leave them below. I'd be happy to get back in touch with you. I forgot to mention, there's only 2 more days left if you are interested. There is a special going on with Stampin' Up! Right now until the end of the month, which is Thursday. I'm looking at my calendar across the room. Thursday is the end of the month. It's a buy one, get one half price for our kits. Kits can be found online, so check them out. Go to my website or your demonstrator's website, whomever your demonstrator might be. And if you look under kits, it will show you everything that's available. They're not found in the catalog, they're found online. So you can take a look at that. And they... the most expensive one will end up being half price, which never happens. So choose wisely. But when I looked I looked yesterday, maybe the day before, actually the Christmas one with the little elfie lady decorating the top of the tree was still available, as well as the rain boots. I'm not saying those are the best, but love them. Anyway, so if you're interested in those, you only have a couple days left. So please act on that quickly. Alrighty. That's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. If there's anything I can get for you, just get in touch with me. If you have a different demonstrator here, please get in touch with her and she will take care of you as well. Thanks, guys. I will see you next Tuesday. Have a good week. Bye.